You've played the film, homosexual guy, and you are a straight guy. What was the biggest challenge?
So playing Phil from the point of a heterosexual person as to a homosexual, I think the biggest challenge of that was getting in the mindset. Because obviously a lot of what I had to do was I had to research into the area of what people went through. I went through a lot of first person accounts of what it was like for them coming out to their parents and their families and even just the communities around them. Because I think the hardest thing for me was to understand that sort of area of someone's mind, because for me obviously there's the whole point of like this heterosexuality being the default. For me there was never like that sort of coming out, so it was probably the most difficult thing to understand, but the most challenging part of the process as well. It gave me a lot to work with, however, though. So
Okay, I'm glad. Did you enjoy playing him and the research bit as well?
the research part of going into Phil and playing Phil was probably my favourite part of the filming, to be honest, because it gave me sort of areas to explore, and it gave me sort of abilities that I wasn't sure, which I knew I had, but it gave me a chance to explore those even more and develop them and become. I feel I'm a much better actor now from those experiences than I was prior to it.
Okay, that's great, because one of the question is, do you feel like you developed as an actor during this short production, and how?
Yeah, I feel I've definitely developed as an actor prior to this, since this production. Definitely in terms of researching characters and researching the films in general and gaining that understanding, but also just my experience on set and my experience in front of the camera now has just sort of developed me into a much better screen actor. So I've done lots of stuff theatre, but obviously screen and theatre are two very different forms of acting.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel that on that side I really have developed.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you developed yourself. Um, are there any similarities between you and the character that you play?
Similarities between me and Phil.
Or differences?
And any similarities between myself and Phil, or differences? I think in terms of, we're both sort of quite lonely, shy people. Like Phil himself, he doesn't really have that many people to talk to, where he feels like I do have a few people I can talk to myself, but I feel in a similar way to Phil, I don't really go out my way to talk to people about these things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the ways I think we're similar. Difference-wise, though, I feel I'm a much more outgoing person than what Phil is. So as you can see, he spends a lot of the time in the film alone.
Yeah.
He doesn't really interact with a lot of people, and when he does, it's a very sort of awkward encounter. He's not really sure how to approach people and converse with them, and I feel that's one of the difference between himself and me, is that I feel like I can approach people and I'm very good at conversing. Like once we're away from people, I feel like we're very similar people.
All right.
But when it comes to the actual interaction, I feel that's where we differ.
All right, okay.
Phil. My name's Phil.
What are your plans for the future?
So my plans for the future are to go straight into full-time acting once I finish university. So at the moment I'm in the middle of putting together a show reel. Once that's completed, I'll be sending that off to a big, long list of agents that I will hopefully hear back from in the near future, and hopefully successfully hear back from. And then it will just be about getting in as much work as I can, getting in as much work as that I want to do as well. So my plan will be to begin to move further south.
All right. Whereabouts?
So I'll initially be wanting to move to Manchester area, due to all the Salford studios, etc. Just because I feel like it's a bit, to go straight to London isn't really feasible.
Mm-hmm. So take it slow.
Take it slow. Take it step by step. Because I feel like if I just dive straight into that end, then it might get overwhelming, especially with the costs in London.
Right.
It might just be a bit too much. So hopefully moving to Manchester as a starter, getting work in, getting my face out, starting to build build a reputation for myself, and then hopefully it'll be more of like, rather than me just moving to London, it'll be more like a natural progression that I should be moving to London.
Yeah, make it like natural transition.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah. You've mentioned a studio in Manchester.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're interested in film and TV rather than theatre?
Yeah, I'm much more interested in film and TV than theatre. I still absolutely love theatre. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. I'd happily sit there and watch productions day in, day out. But I feel what I suit as an actor is being in front of the camera as opposed to being on stage.
Right.
I feel like I understand acting in front of a camera better than I do on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole process of building that character and then coming onto set and needing to get into that zone in between takes, having to wait until everything's set up and then being told, right, okay, we're going to shoot this. I feel like that is something that I can do, as opposed to staying in the character for an entire two-hour show. And I feel, because one of the things that particularly interests me is adjusting my performance to the shot size, which is something that I think is quite desirable in an actor from a director's point of view, because obviously if we're doing a medium close-up, you're not going to want me like moving about a lot and getting out of shot all the time. So I think that's one of the things that really interests me as well. It's just those little things that separate theatre acting from film acting, and it just puts my preference towards that side.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Adam, for the interview.
You're very welcome.
We wish had a gala.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.